the doctor in front of your name.
Let's get into the myths and facts of mental health. So there are some common terms that we often hear up and down these social media streets. What are some terms that you've heard?
You know, we have gaslighting is a big one.
Yes,
a lot of times we talk about a lot of personality disorders. We say narcissist or you're narcissistic.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times, like, even naming things like, oh, you must have PTSD. And it's like, just because you go through trauma does not mean you're going to develop PTSD.
Come
but
on.
That is one of those myths too.
That part. Okay, let's start at the top. Gaslighting, right? Again, one of those things that we often see people, oh, you're gaslighting me, when in fact they're, we'll get into it. But how would you define that to people so that they can have an understanding of what it is and what it isn't?
Yeah, so gaslighting is a repeated emotional manipulation. And so there's an intentionality to that because it's to cause you to question your reality so then you bend to their will. So there's a reasoning behind it.
Yeah.
And I think about it as like, when people are like, oh, well, no, that really didn't happen. We all kind of do that where we're like, I thought it was like this. I thought it was like this.
Right.
But that's also because, my memory is really trash sometimes too. But when we think about like what does gaslighting look like, it is that emotional manipulation that's involved in questioning your reality so that this other person can get what they want out of you.
Yeah, okay. What would that look like in relationships? If someone were being gaslit in a relationship, is it just this person's disagreeing with me, therefore they're gaslighting me? Like, what does it look like in that dynamic?
So I think about it, let's say that, you and your partner were out to dinner and you clearly saw your partner like looking someone up and down and, all of that. And you're like, this makes me feel uncomfortable. And so you bring it up and say like, hey, I didn't like that. And it was like, what do you mean? Like, I didn't even do anything like that. There's nothing wrong with this, right? And you've expressed to them like, no, I don't like, and we've already talked about, I don't like when you do X, Y, and Z. And then they do it. And then they're like, well, you're making a big deal out of something that's not really there. All I did was glance. And even though for yourself, no, this man was like staring and doing everything else. But it's that idea of like what you're doing, like, or what you saw, like, isn't right.
Yes. Okay. And so I think that clarifies it up for the people. So the next time y'all say somebody is gaslighting you, make sure that you have the definition that Dr. Uche provided, because it isn't necessarily just someone disagreeing or you're being upset or mean or whatever. Like, it's intentionality behind it. Okay. All right. I've been hearing a lot lately, Black people are being gaslit right now in the political climate. Would you agree with that?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah. In what ways?
I think the idea of like one that racism doesn't exist.
Come on.
I think
that part.
That one to me really blows my mind.
Yes.
Where it's like, oh no, that didn't really happen.
Yeah.
And we're seeing things happen in real time and we're told to not trust ourselves. And I think that's a big portion of like gaslighting too. It's like, no, but I'm actually seeing this.
This is my experience.
Like things like them removing the refugee status that just happened recently where they took away all the contracts and it said like, oh, so people are in limbo who were supposed to be landing like today, tomorrow, whatever.
Wow.
They're not. And it's like, oh no, but we're not trying to get rid of immigrants. We actually care for refugees. But then all the behaviors you're doing are showing that you actually don't care for them.
Yes.
With Black people too, in America, where it's thinking about like, oh, affirmative action, where we just really want merit-based, but you don't really want merit-based because Black people are really kind of excellent. We really are killing it in everything.
The highest educated
the
group,
highest
Black
educated,
women.
okay, period. And even in that, you're saying, oh no, this is the other reason why you didn't get in. Not, I actually don't want you here.
Yes. So political gaslighting is definitely a thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
The doctor in front of your name.